Hey everyone, this is Leisha and this is a watercolor kind of speed paint video that I thought I'd just do a little bit of narration over. Hopefully my audio quality and my video quality isn't too bad. I've never really done a traditional speed paint before, so hopefully it's at least bearable. So sorry about that. First of all, I just kind of like to say that I'm not very experienced with watercolors at all. The last watercolor piece I probably did 3 years ago on a tiny little watercolor pad as big as my hand, and I've never done a fully rendered piece in watercolor before. It's always just been little things like a single face. I've never done an entire kind of portrait with a background or anything like that. So this was a really big learning experience for me, and I think it turned out okay for kind of how little experience I've had in it, but next time I'll definitely do a lot of stuff differently. Like, I'll plan out my colours a lot more, because as I was going into this, I knew that she was in space and I wanted space behind her. That's basically it. I didn't know what colour I was going to have the suit or the helmet or how I was going to do the reflection. So next time I'll definitely think about it a little bit more, but initially I was just kind of putting colours down and seeing kind of what looked good and what blended nicely, and yeah. Basically what I'm trying to say is that anyone with more experience than me, which is barely any, could do the exact same piece and make it probably look twice as good with half the amount of layers. I don't have enough experience to kind of do what I want yet with watercolours, but hopefully in time I'll kind of learn how to do that. I really found this kind of piece scary initially, just because when you're using obviously these kind of paints, there's a sense of permanency when you apply them to areas. Like, is that layer too dark for what I want? And so I was very hesitant to kind of do what I usually do, which is put super dark, kind of, I guess, dense per se colours on the canvas, like a base layer. But you can't really do that with these colours because you have to build it up layer by layer to kind of get that rich kind of skin colour, or just rich, vibrant colour in general, which I'm not used to. Funnily enough, I actually found it really hard to mix brown, which isn't a problem that I've ever known anyone to have. Usually all people complain about making is brown. Like, I was trying to make this and I made brown. I had the opposite problem. I just could not make the kind of brown that I wanted, and I just really struggled with doing it. And I ended up finding in the bottom, hidden away in one of my drawers, a brown watercolor, which I ended up using for the hair. But if I didn't have that, I would have found it really, really hard to get the color that I wanted. And it made it so much easier to do, but I usually don't like just going straight from the tube, so I did obviously mix it a bit, but I just found it really hard to make brown. But yeah, I thought I'd also just mention what kind of paper and stuff I was using. So I was using 300 GSM paper, and it had quite a big tooth on it, which next time I'll definitely get like rolled paper just so that I can use pencils on it a little bit better, just because it showed up so easily. You can even see in the recording that the pencil's quite obvious, so next time I will definitely get the rolled paper. And I was just using Reeves watercolors, and that was in the tube, not the pan. Something that does actually vary from my original concept though was that she was going to have like some blood on her face, or like some scratches to kind of imply that something might have attacked her, which is why on the lip that you can see right now there's like a dot or like a drop, and originally that was going to be like a part of the blood, so I didn't mind keeping it there, which is why I didn't like swipe it away. So, and I didn't actually end up doing that in the end, so it looks a little bit dodgy to be honest, but I couldn't really convince myself to go back and try and kind of fix it up, just because I was scared that I'd ruin it. Something else was that I was going to have a kind of backpack on her, which would be like the more complex component of it, but it would be in the background. Actually, in the initial kind of background colouring, I forgot that I was going to do that, so I just completely painted it over. So that's completely gone in the final concept, which was something that I thought was going to kind of bring more depth to the picture, which completely forgot about, which means I kind of lost that depth, but oh well. I do actually like how the background ended up in the end anyway. I finally started kind of filling in the back part of the hair and the eyebrows and stuff like that. I wasn't sure how I was going to actually style the hair, because usually I do nothing similar to what I ended up doing, which is just the few lines that I did. Usually I just kind of imply hair by doing just like a big blob of colour, but I actually liked what I ended up kind of winging and doing. At this point, I'm just kind of starting to fill in the last bits that I think need a bit more definition, like putting the final shadows in and refining the last edges. And basically just figuring out what I'm going to do with the helmet and if I'm going to put lettering or anything in, which I didn't actually end up doing in the end. And I thought I'd just add a little kind of comparison between the initial sketch that I did and the final piece. So this one I did, it's probably maybe 8 centimeters tall, and then this is a full page rendition of that previous sketch on the other page, and then that's how I ended up with the final piece. And I think it actually, I could have probably made it a bit smaller and included more of the suit, which I was initially going to do, and I was going to have more kind of space, but overall I'm pretty happy with the general overall composition anyway. Now just here I'm just starting to do the planet in the reflection of the helmet, and for this I actually brought up a reference picture of Pluto, and I just started kind of filling in kind of random shapes and blotches that just kind of matched that reference image. And overall I actually like how the planet turned out, considering I had no plan for it at all, and it ended up okay. I'm actually pretty happy with that. So as I start kind of wrapping up the piece, I'm just going in and adding the final kind of edges with some pencils. It's just some Prismacolors, and I think I basically just used black just to outline that glass edge, just to make it a bit more refined, and I just went in and a few little lines on the eyebrows just because I couldn't really do what I wanted with a watercolor brush or just a brush in general, so it was easier to just go in with the pencils and finish those little bits and pieces off versus risk kind of having the water spill and flood over the areas that I really don't want anything dark. And finally, that you just don't see in the video, is that I go over those kind of cracks on the helmet with a white gel pen, and I just did a few little coats on the edges there, and that's the final product. So overall, I hope you guys liked this video, and hopefully my commentary wasn't too annoying. If I was, just turn me off next time. I really hope you liked the video, and thank you for watching.